You, my viewers, followers, and subscribers, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. It's a rainy day here in the beautiful tri-island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. I'm quite sure we've been affected by some tropical wave, tropical depression, be that as it may. I hope it has not daunted your spirits in any shape, in any way, shape, or form. Yeah? Just have to give thanks, yeah, because these are some of the things we have the control over. So my live today is coming to you on two platforms, TikTok and YouTube. Folks, I would dearly love for you, my followers, viewers, and subscribers to partake, comment, share, and like. Yeah? I want to invite, anybody that's willing to be a part of the live to come in as a guest. Thank you once again. So I want us to delve into some issues that I know will affect us, even if we are not paying attention. Decisions that are made by our political hierarchy, laws and what have you that is passed, ultimately affects us all in one way or another. I want to first of all focus on the recently held heads of government meeting. I think it was the 49th regular meeting of the CARICOM heads of government that was held in Jamaica. And some of the key pointers and decisions that were made and taken during that conference. Yep. Folks, I'm quite sure we are familiar with CARICOM, what it is about. Yep. We may not be in full agreement with all that has been said or whatever has been done or maybe how it's been done. Ioki 1333, thank you for joining the live. Where are you joining the live? Please let me know where are you joining this live from. Thank you, thank you. So, one of the key decisions, I just want to delve into that, is the free movements, and they have been grappling with that time and time again. Yep. So a decision was taken by, I think, 4 CARICOM governments. I know for a fact St. Vincent is one. Yes. And the Prime Minister, the Honorable Ralph Gonzalez, was very vocal, very, very vocal about this burning issue. Big boy, thank you for joining the live. Welcome, welcome. Where are you joining this live from, big boy? Where are you joining this live from? So it's St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Belize, and Dominica. Yes? As part of the Single Market and Economy, referred to as the CSME. These 4 countries have decided to allow the free movement of people between their borders. Out of over, I think it's maybe 40 plus regular members, and I think some associate members. Why aren't there more? Sweet Cheeks, Kasimuna, thank you for joining the live. Welcome to each and every one of you. Why is it only 4? What is the issue preventing the rest from not realizing this dream? Yes, it has its pros and its cons. We know that all too well, especially in this new dynamic. We see, the issues, especially when we have criminals moving from different jurisdictions to different jurisdictions. Yeah? But folks, 4 countries, 4 countries out of almost 40 in the CARICOM have decided to go it alone. And I know oftentimes when they arrive at decisions at CARICOM, before it is signed off by the various governments, it has to go through its stages in the various parliaments, ratified and then passed into law, etc. Is that the reason why, in our case, we are not hearing about it? Are we going to see a push, therefore, in that regard, as these 4 countries has decided to go it alone, if only for the moment? What about Trinidad? What about St. Lucia and Anguilla, Antigua? What about the other countries that comprise CARICOM? Hey, Selma, thank you for joining the live. Please share, like, follow, and subscribe. This live is coming to you on both platforms, YouTube and TikTok simultaneously. Thank you each and everyone for joining. So folks, it is hope, and I'm quite sure you will agree with me, that at some stage, the vast majority, or all of them, could eventually see daylight, ratify, do what is necessary to have our brothers, our sisters from our fellow Caribbean countries travel freely across each other's borders. I'm quite sure things would have to be put in place in terms of the checks and balances, ensuring, first and foremost, security, transparency, accountability. Yes? Ensuring that we here in Grenada is safe. Likewise, those in Trinidad is safe. Yes? Even if we have people coming in, and I think that is a struggle. That has been a struggle for most of the country in terms of ensuring that our borders are safe and secure. Yep. Hey, Chad, thank you for joining the live. Welcome. Folks, where are you all? Can each of you just drop a comment in terms of where are you joining the live from? I would dearly love to know where you are joining this live from. Tavares, John 16, thank you for joining the live. Welcome. Yep. So this is one of the key conclusions coming out from the recent heads of government, the 49 heads of government conference that was held in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Yes? So I just want you all to just listen for a moment to hear what PM Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, had to say. Before I do that though, I just want to let you know that the information that I gathered came from my research on Google. These information I'm sharing is for educational and entertainment purposes, all rights reserved. So just take a moment here and listen.
A lot of us don't go to Belize, and a lot of Belizeans don't come to us. So even except those who have Garifuna links. So that's an important linkage there. So that those from Belize, Garifuna, who want to come and need your remain, they can come for short periods and work for long periods and work. We can do the same thing down there. And a number of incentives, looking at data on an ongoing basis, up to the 6-month period. A lot of families they have. And sometimes they're underpaid. Very often they are taken advantage of. So what is being done here is not anything which is deleterious to us. On the other hand, it is very supportive of us and our people.
Folks, there you have it. There you have it there from the Vincentian Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, vocal. He has been really vocal about the free movements of people between our Caribbean countries. Yep. So that is but one. I just want to share with you some other decisions. So another key decision, apart from these four countries, namely Barbados, St. Vincent, Dominica, and Belize, allowing for free movements between the countries, the decision was also made to urgently expedite the free movements, and especially as it relates to the vast majority of the other countries that forms CARICOM not being on board just yet, for whatever reasons. Gaza Queen, Aliyah Fontaine, Gabby, Zachariah, Bobby J, Ness, Focus. Thank you each and every one of you for joining this live. Please share, follow, like, comment. Including the implementation of minimum guarantees for primary and secondary education and emergency and primary health care. Let me just take it over. That is really, really important. At the recent CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, a key decision regarding the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, referred to as CSME, was to urgently expedite the free movement of people, including the implementation of minimum guarantees for primary and secondary education and emergency and primary health care. The heads of government also agreed to amend the revised treaty, and I believe they're referring to the Treaty of Chagaramas. That is what brought everybody together in terms of the formation of CARICOM. I'm subject to correction. To simplify the process for changing rules of origin to better meet the needs of member states. Let me just take that over. Including the implementation of minimum guarantees for primary and secondary education and emergency and primary health care. The heads of government also agreed to amend the revised treaty to simplify the process for changing rules of origin to better meet the needs of member states. Additionally, they stressed the importance of digital transformation. That is now a biggie right around the world. Digital. Hey, short stuff. Kimi Maisie, Evie, Nana, Leo Melly. Thank you, each and every one. Welcome, welcome. Where are you joining the live from? Drop a comment, share, like, and please follow. They stress the importance of digital transformation within the CSME, particularly regarding company registries, and agreed to establish a regional committee of information technology experts to facilitate this process. Yeah? So separate and apart from the four countries which I spoke about just a while ago, allowing for free movements across each other's border, they have stressed the need for the rest, the other countries, to urgently expedite the free movements, in addition to a number of key processes. Yep. Naira Raja, Leo Melly, short stuff. Thank you, thank you. I'm just trying to look for some information here. Just bear with me. All right. So yes, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines have agreed to allow the free movement of all CARICOM citizens, within their borders, effective October the 1st. Effective October the 1st. Hey Joyce, Elaine, Map, Giola, thank you for joining this live. Welcome, welcome. Please share, like, follow. Mofo Mabus, Jajalicious, thank you. Welcome each and every one of you. The decision was announced at the 49th meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government recently held in Montego Bay. So not only have they decided, these four decided to allow for free movements within their jurisdiction, they have set a date of October the 1st. Folks, I might sound biased, but that's the best month. October for me is the best month. Sorry. So yeah, October the 1st, we'll see the free movement between these four countries. The free movement of people is a key component of the CARICOM single market and economy. Union Christmas 54, Rose, thank you. Welcome each and every one of you. Which aims, so the CSME aims to deepen regional integration and create a more unified economic space. Folks, we have been struggling for years with that. Arriving at a union economically between, amongst each other. Amina, just call me. Keldon, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining the live. The four countries are moving forward with this initiative under the provisions of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas and the Protocol on Enhanced Cooperation. J. Maestro, Clinker, thank you, welcome. The free movement of people within CARICOM means that citizens of these countries can travel, live, and work in any of the participating countries without the need for work permits and other restrictions. Folks, I definitely heard work permits, but I would dearly love to understand and to clarify other restrictions. Is there anybody on the live willing to share about any other restrictions? I have a feeling I know what they're talking about, but it would be nice for one of you on the live to just share your thought, drop a comment, yep, in terms of this discussion. This is a significant step forward. And it will aid in greater regional integration and economic cooperation within the Caribbean community. The CARICOM Private Sector Organization, or CPSO, has commended these four countries and their commitment to free movement and is encouraging other member states to follow suit by the end of the year. Yo, girl Zena, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for liking. Welcome. How are you? How are you today? So, folks, the private sector welcome and applauds these four countries. But they are hoping that the others will do so before year end. It's left to be seen. July, it's coming to its end. So we have August, September, October, November, December. Yes? 5 more months to go. Let's see what happens. So, folks, there it is in a nutshell. There it is in a nutshell. I'm trying here to gather some additional information. But these basically were the key decisions arrived at. I believe, and I'm subject to correction, there was talk about the transportation system in the Caribbean, especially as it regards to movements of boats, utilizing ships between the countries, between each other's countries. I believe there was some talk. Is there anybody on the live that was following, that would have followed and can shed some light on that? Javon Dunks, thank you for joining the live. I believe there was some talk. I believe Mia Amor Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, spoke about that. So it seemed as though something is in the works, or that something is about to happen relative to that. Folks, I remember years ago, we had the Seamstrong. Can anybody from mainland Grenada or Carriacou and Petit Martinique, does anybody remember the Seamstrong that plied the route between our islands? Yep. Whatever happened to Seamstrong though? Whatever happened to Seamstrong? Yep. So we need some injection in that regard. And I think not so long ago too, a gentleman came up with an idea, I think, of starting something. It was supposed to have started in Grenada. And lo and behold, there was no more talk about it. I don't know if he was waiting for the licensing. I don't know what the situation is or was, but we heard nothing about it again. That is sorely needed. That is sorely needed. And I'm quite sure many of us in these isles would welcome having to travel by boat to our sister countries. Welcome each and every one of you. Polo Detail, Gina G. Welcome, each and every one of you. So the topic today, as I said, is twofold. I just delve into some of the key conclusions arrived at the recently held 49th Heads of Government Conference in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Yep. Hey, Sam. Thank you for joining the live. Cynthia Lubin, thank you. Welcome each and every one of you. There have been talk lately in the news, folks, about Grenada cutting ties with the British monarchy. Yes. Probably not loud enough for everyone to hear, but there have been talks. Is Grenada headed towards becoming a republic? Are we at the stage where we can comfortably cut the navel string of the colonial master? Natasha Chakovich, Kuku, thank you. Welcome each and every one of you. So On a recent DMs with the PM, sorry, Bob report. I'm quite sure many of you would have heard about the Bob report hosted by Kellan Bob, usually on Sundays. Our Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, was questioned about abolishing the colonial oath of allegiance. I just want you to listen in.
Happened because Grenada was a colony of the United Kingdom, right? So Grenadians didn't vote for a constitution in 1974. In 1974, when we became an independent country, the constitution wasn't submitted to the public and say pass a referendum or whether you want it or not. All right, so thank you, Patrick, for your question. I think first of all, I've said constitutional changes or amendment that is not a priority for the government. But we have to appreciate that the Constitution is a law, just like any other law. Some parts of the Constitution are what we call in law entrenched, meaning it is more difficult to change. And the most entrenched parts are those that require a referendum. It requires you to go to Parliament first to pass a bill. It requires that bill to pass by a certain majority. Usually it will be 2/3 of the voting, or in some cases even 75%, depending on the way it's crafted. And then you still go to a referendum. There are some parts of the Constitution which could simply be amended by a 2/3 majority. The issues such as the oath of allegiance is frankly so low on the totem pole that it is really, in my view, someone who does not appreciate what our history is and who doesn't appreciate the enormous sacrifice made by those who came before us to get us to a point where we have not just freedom as individuals, but sovereignty as a small island developing state that would think it is okay for us to be still swearing allegiance, with all due respect to King Charles, his heirs and successors. And I will ask this question bluntly. Grenada is, yes, a member of the Commonwealth. We have excellent relations with the United Kingdom, and we wish for those relations to continue. Just recently, as this week, we had a partnership. For example, the UK SIF would be Southern Wastewater project. But sovereign countries have excellent bilateral relations. That doesn't mean you have to swear allegiance to the head of the state of another foreign country. And that won't happen because Grenada was a colony of the United Kingdom, right? So Grenadians didn't vote for a constitution in 1974. In 1974, when we became an independent country, the constitution wasn't submitted to the public and say pass a referendum or whether you want it or not. So there is no such thing as unilateral in law. Lawmaking isn't a contract in the strict sense between two private persons. Lawmaking arises from a sovereign power that the people place in their representatives via an election, a democratic process that gives you the mandate to make law. And if the public gives us the mandate to make law, and if the size of that mandate is sufficient to allow us to change the constitution via the regular lawmaking process, there's no unilateralism in that. So when we pass all of the piece of legislation, isn't it the same unilateral process? So I think this is really a red herring at best, a storm in a teacup, but more importantly, a fundamental misappreciation of what this simple amendment to the Constitution must, in my view, do. And I'm satisfied that the majority of Canadians support this. I don't think anyone in their right mind will expect me or any future Prime Minister of Britain on taking the oath of office to serve them that I should be swearing allegiance to King Charles, his heirs and successors. I've said it even in political settings. What it is about King Charles that is superior to me, that requires me not to swear allegiance to the people of Grenada, but him. So if Patrick and any others like him could answer that question, then we could have debate. But until such time, I'm more than happy to swear allegiance to the people of Grenada, to the state and institutions of Grenada. Obviously, I quite like King Charles, but King Charles should be the king of the United Kingdom. And
his subjects can continue swearing their allegiance to him. But there's no reason why, in my view, any Caribbean country should find themselves swearing allegiance to anything except the people. So the relationship with the UK, membership in the Commonwealth, those are bilateral.
So, folks, there we have it. And let me make it abundantly clear that this is being used for education and entertainment purposes. Yeah, all rights reserved. Yeah, I saw a thing come up there about restrictions. I don't understand why the restriction do. Yeah. So this is an excerpt there of question posed to the Prime Minister relative to Grenada, in a nutshell, cutting ties with the British monarchy. Yep. So again, I want to ask the question: Are we headed in that direction? Is Grenada about to? And I'm not saying next week, next month. It may be next week. It may be next month. Who knows? Are we headed in that direction? Only time will tell. 5-star. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you for joining the live. Welcome. So there we have it. And there's another bit of information I just want to share with you here. That a statement that was made by well-known barrister at law Ali Gill relative to the same issue. Yep. And he is chairman of the Grenada National Reparations Committee. Not quite sure if he still is. Yeah. I'm just reading to you here. It says, he has renewed call for the islands of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique to cut their ties with the British monarch following Barbados' removal of the then head of the monarchy, Queen Elizabeth, as head of state in 2021. So Barbados was the most recent of countries that became a republic and cut the navel string of the British monarchy as head of state. Yeah. This call was made during the ceremony to mark the Trevelyan family's historic acknowledgement and reconciling the ancestors' participation in the transatlantic slave trade and the dehumanization of African people for profit. Folks, those of you here in Grenada would recall a few years ago, the then plantation owners, yes, that came, visited, and acknowledged that which was just said in terms of the dehumanization of African people for profit, and as such, they made a contribution, quote unquote, in terms of reparations. Shadiman Wayne, welcome. Thank you for joining the live. They were represented by 7 members and led by the British Broadcasting Corporation. Journalist Laura Trevelyan. She officially apologized, and that was on Monday, the 27th of February, 2023. That's 2 years ago. Yeah, to the Grenadian people for the family's role in the enslavement of 1,004 Africans trafficked to work on sugar plantations in Grenada. He didn't mention the plantations, but they said on sugar plantations in Grenada. There has been, in recent times, calls and renewed calls for reparations to be paid by not just the British monarchy and the government, but Europe on a whole as well. In his address, the Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, and his cabinet colleagues in attendance at the Reparation Forum to mark the Trevelyan family's signing of a letter of apology, Gill stated that it is now time to start the protest towards having a national conversation on the topic of republicanism. That's 2023. Republicanism. A conversation on Grenada becoming a republic and moving away graciously from the English monarchy as the head of state must commence in earnest. As Grenadians, we are very aware that on 2 occasions, we went to the polls to vote yea or nay for the Caribbean Court of Justice to be our final appellant court. On both occasions, we said nay. This issue of the Caribbean Court of Justice is worth revisiting. Folks, I am apprehensive. I'll be frank with you. I am apprehensive about the Caribbean, the CCJ, becoming our appellant court. What do you think, folks? What do you think? Are you in favor? I'm quite sure you are in favor of us having our own way, having our own court, making our own decisions. But I am frightened. I am concerned about the CCJ. So we had the opportunity to vote in twice about becoming a member of the CCJ. As it is now, we are still, our final court of appeal is still the Privy Council in England. Mr. Handsome Gulf, thank you for joining. GD, Mr. Handsome, thank you. Welcome. What is your opinion? Folks, this live is coming to you on 2 platforms. Yep. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you. TikTok and YouTube. The discussion today centers around the whole issue of the recent heads of government conference in Jamaica, some of the key decisions that were arrived at, and the word I'm hearing on the ground and in the media of Grenada wanting to cut ties with the British monarchy. Share your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Are you in favor of this decision? Are you in favor? Do you think we are at the stage where we can accommodate and safely transfer to becoming a republic? What do you think, Mr. Handsome? What do you think? What is your thought on that? What is your thought? Thanks for the likes. Thank you to each and every one on this live. So on both occasions, we said nay. The issue of the Caribbean Court of Justice is worth revisiting. It is not merely a legal issue. Your thoughts on the CCJ becoming our final court of appeal? Yep. And the free movement of people across each other's country within the region, within CARICOM. The decision was made by 4 countries recently coming out of the heads of government conference to start October the 1st. But we have about 40 member states. So my concern is what is happening with the rest? Why the hesitancy? So feel free and share your thoughts on these burning issues because, like it or not, it will affect us ultimately. So let us continue. This issue of the Caribbean Court of Justice is worth revisiting. It is not merely a legal issue. It is an issue that goes fundamentally to the ideals of an independent nation. I agree wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, we need to stand firm. We need to make united decisions as a grouping. Yes, we need unity because in unity there is strength. So during that discussion, where that family acknowledged their role, a member of the audience questioned the Prime Minister, likening his acceptance speech of pledging allegiance to the King upon assuming office as Prime Minister to that of the Jewish people pledging allegiance to Nazi Germany. That is far-reaching. That is really, really far-reaching. Folks, the information I'm sharing with you is information I gathered on my research on Google. It is for entertainment and educational purposes. All rights reserved. In his reply, he said, change is more than desired, wishful, or thinking. Let me repeat. Change is more than desired, wishful, or wishful thinking. That as we as a people will be required to have the conversation to accept that we do not wish to pledge allegiance to the King. To accept that we do not wish to be part of a monarchical system of government, and then to collectively agree on the steps to change that. But until we are prepared to do so, and I say my part in this is to speak about it and help lead the process for it to happen. But as a country, it will take a majority decision via a referendum. So ultimately, it boils down to the will of the people and not just the political directorate. They could lead the charge and offer it up as a referendum and have people vote. Yea or nay. Thank you for the likes. Of course, it will affect us, as is usually the case, even beyond our borders, internationally. You know, when the big people of their sneeze, we oftentimes catch the cold. You know, so like it or not, we will be affected. Yes, again, as I said earlier on, I look forward to the day when I will feel truly satisfied that we can make decisions and stand firm on our decisions. Gill described the day's events as a day of remembrance in his welcome remarks. It's a day to remember our ancestors and their descendants, and it is finally a day of recognition of the harms of slavery and a moment of global reckoning that is long overdue. Yeah? So I just wanted to share with you that because in 2023, the talk came up about us gravitating to becoming a republic. Lately, I'm hearing talk about it again. So it makes me wonder if ultimately or soon time Grenada will cut ties with the British monarchy. Time alone will tell. So I just want to go back to a question that was posed to the Prime Minister relative to that again. I think he would have been possibly on a trip to England, and he was interviewed by Sky News. So the question had to do about republicanism, the Commonwealth, and the relationship that the island nation has with the UK. And that was just ahead of the King's coronation. Here's what he had to say. When asked if there could be a Grenadian republic in his lifetime, Mr. Michel said, I believe so. Our sitting Prime Minister, when asked if there would be a Grenadian republic in his lifetime, his response was, I believe so. The 45-year-old Prime Minister, who has been in office for almost 3 years now, at the time it was 10 months, said he has hope it will happen during his leadership, but ruled out any concrete constitutional change before 2024. He did mention that, and I read about it earlier on. It is not an immediate priority for us, he said, citing economic, health, and social issues as being more important. And this news comes after Jamaica. Listen to this. Jamaica declared it has accelerated its plans to become a republic. Jamaica has accelerated its plans to become a republic. Folks, please share, like, follow, subscribe, and comment, because I need you. I need your support along this journey. Your comment is my measuring stick so that I can gauge where I'm at in my attempt to provide you with quality content. Things that are relevant to us, not just here in Grenada and the region, but around the world. Mr. Handsome, thank you for that comment there. Thank you. I always try my best to, to be relevant. Yeah? To ensure that at the end of the day, we each learn something. So, Jamaica declared it has accelerated its plans to become a republic as soon as next year. And that was 2024. So, for all you know, they are full speed ahead. And don't be surprised, before the year is ended, the declaration will be made. And Jamaica will have become the newest republic member, following in the footsteps of Barbados. Who is next? On Jamaica's stance, our sitting Prime Minister commented, it's obviously a decision for the Jamaican people and the Jamaican government. And it's the same here I guess it's the same in St. Vincent and any other at the other islands. You would want to involve your people in this sort of a decision making. I think it is important and it is the right thing to do. So there are some pros and cons that I came up to in support of the monarchy. And there are those die hard, that still supports the monarchy for whatever reasons. So some of the pros it says here: unity and neutrality, stability and predictability, constitutional guardianship, a guarantee of our democracy. Really? Honors and awards, where we know that is commonplace. Diplomatic importance, humbling our politicians. Really? The cost of becoming a republic. I just want to share with you the cost of becoming a republic. Yes, there is a cost. Transitioning to a republic would be very expensive. Becoming a republic would require the removal of all the numerous references and symbols of the monarchy throughout Grenadian government. For instance, the Royal Grenada Police Force would have to be renamed, bringing with it a change of logo and a change of all the uniforms, which include the crown as its insignia. His Majesty's prison would also need to be renamed. Again, logo, uniforms. The office of the Governor General, the office of the Governor General would need to be renamed to President. Also, with all the accompanied cost of changing symbols, flags, and other associated material, our national honors and awards, which have the king as sovereign and which bears images of the late Queen Elizabeth II and the royal crown, would need to be totally redesigned. It is not to mention the exorbitant costs of holding a republic referendum, which is required by our constitution. So did you just hear that part there? For us to go republic, we have to expend a vast amount of monies. Yes, make quite a number of changes. And the Constitution dictates that there ought to be a referendum. The cost of becoming a republic, which would cost millions of dollars, is indefensible for the total lack of any benefit it would bring. Well, that's one person's opinion. Yeah, I'm quite sure a lot of us and a lot of you on the live might be thinking differently. It's a one-off. It probably is a one-off, In any case, though, folks, I thoroughly hope that you did enjoy me sharing with you a bit of information, sharing some insights on topics that is relative to us, that will affect us, that can affect us. So let us wait, hope, and see what happens in the next few weeks, months, and possibly years. Let me thank each and every one of you on this live, those that shared, those that like. I urge you to follow, continue to comment, and please subscribe. Again, this live is being shared on both platforms, that of YouTube and TikTok. I wish each and every one of you, wherever you are, a very good evening. I wish each and every one of you, sorry about that, sorry for the interruption there. I wish each and every one of you an enjoyable evening, a restful night, and a productive Wednesday. Peace.